Now I will tell you about the first 6 episodes of the anime called Parasite teaching about life. Put likes if you want to continue. Alien parasite creatures have secretly infiltrated our planet, whose sole purpose is the destruction of humanity. They eat the brain to take over the body completely, so they can feed on other people. Some parasites eat the families and friends of their hosts. But Zumi Shinichi was lucky when the parasite tried to get into his brain. He listened to music with headphones. Then the parasite tried to enter the brain through the circulatory system through the arm. But Shinichi pulled it with a wire from the headphones when he woke up and saw that a mysterious something had penetrated his arm. The alien had to stay in his hand, and Zumi tried to tell his parents everything, but they didn't believe him. In the morning, when he came down to breakfast, his hand seemed to go numb, and on the way to school, she began to live her own life at all. He grabbed his classmate Sodomy Moran by the chest, which made her terribly offended. I didn't want anything like that. And then the incredible happened. Shinichi saved the girl by stopping a car that almost ran over her. You can say, such a cool down by dusk. At home, he decided to check if the hand really belonged to him. And when he was about to plunge a knife into it, it turned into a shapeless talking creature. It didn't speak well yet, so Shinichi couldn't question it. After that, his appetite woke up, although he had not eaten much before. His parents even decided that he was ill. Meanwhile, the dismembered corpses of the maniac who did this began to be found in the city. Nicknamed the Butcher, Killer. In the morning, Shinichi woke up and saw his right hand turned into a parasite and studying books. He said that he was supposed to absorb Izumi's brain, but he couldn't. Now he has grown up, and he will have to live in the place of his right hand. On the way to school, the parasite sensed another representative of its kind. Despite Shinichi's protests, he insisted that they find him. Another parasite ended up in the dog's body, and it attacked Zumi. His right hand had to kill this creature. Meanwhile, parasites are taking over more and more people. One of them saved the girl from rapists, and when they caught up with him to take revenge, he killed them and the rescued girl at the same time. In physical education, Shinichi reconciled with Murano, and Nagai did not like it. He wanted to date her, so he decided to deal with Izumi Nag and started beating him, and Shinichi's right hand answered him. Yes, so the boy ran away in fear. Now the parasite calls itself Magi, which means right hand. When he and Shinichi find themselves on a busy street, Migi feels that they are being watched. They go to the wasteland and the pursuer comes here as well. Seeing that Megi has not captured the host's head, he offers to become a part of his body, so they will become stronger and live longer. But Megi refuses. He is not sure that he will be able to take root in a new body, and without a carrier, he will not survive. Migi cuts off the head of his opponent, and he dies. After this incident, Izumi went to a cafe with Moreno, and on the way back they saw bullies bullying a kitten. Shin took out the unfortunate animal for an hour and drove the boys away. In Moran's eyes, he became a hero. That same night, River Tamiya and Mr. A conceived a child. Their bodies have also been invaded by parasites, and Zumi worries that he can't tell anyone about what happened to him. In addition, they Smitty know that the Butcher, Killer, is an alien parasite. Meanwhile, Shinichi's parents begin to suspect that something is wrong with Sitsumi, as if he has changed, has become somehow different. On the way to school, Migs feel a very strong parasite. When they come to study, they are told that there's a new teacher at the school, Rekotami. Shinichi realizes that she is the parasite they felt, but Shinichi also notices the river. After class, Tamiya invites Izumi to the staff room for a conversation. She notices the Migs and decides that this is a rather unusual symbiosis of a parasite and a human. Ryuko arranges for Shinichi to meet outside the school, where they can talk calmly towards each other. Tamiya comes with the master, and he doesn't like Shinichi. He believes that he should be killed, and Migi at the same time, since he failed to capture the head of the carrier. When Izumi came back to school, Mr. showed up there. Migi felt that he had come for them. The director announced the evacuation of school children because of an outsider in the building. Mr. A has already killed several teachers. Migi wanted to cover himself with other students, and then, while Mr. was busy destroying them, kill him himself. But Shinichi was against it. He ran into an empty corridor and barricaded himself there. He and Midi have drawn up a new battle plan, while Izumi will have to help the parasite. To do this, Migi cut off the leg of a chair and gave Shinichi as a weapon. Mr. A jumped into the corridor from the lower floor inside the barricades created by Izumi. They both had nowhere to run. The limited space played into Shinichi's hand. While Midi was fighting with Mr. A, Izumi was advancing slowly. He was hiding a chair leg in his pant leg, and when they came within striking distance, Shinichi plunged the gun into the opponent's chest. Mr. A, I didn't expect such a turn. He began to bleed, and so that his body would not die, he pushed the leg further and ran away. Shinichi did not follow him. He didn't want to become a murderer. Mr. A, I couldn't believe that some man had killed him. He needed to move into a new body. In order to survive, he found the laboratory where Tamiya River was hiding at that moment. But when he entered, Tamiya jumped out of the window, blowing up the oxygen tanks. Soon after this incident, life returned to its rut. The school found out that the river was expecting a child and called for a conversation. She didn't want to answer questions from colleagues, so she just quit. After leaving school, she intended to kill Shinichi, because I don't have to hide anymore. However, after talking to him, she changed her mind. She was sure that Izumi was changing because of the symbiosis with the parasite and wanted to see where it would lead. When the river returned home, her mother came to her. There, I tried to deceive her, but the woman realized that this was not her daughter. I had to kill her again. Shinichi's parents decided to take a vacation in nature, and Izumi was against it, because if he wasn't around, one of the parasites could kill them. But Miki advised him to let them go away from big cities less likely to attack the parasite. Then Shinichi told his parents that he wouldn't mind if they left, and they went on vacation. A car with a man and a woman is driving along a country road. The man gets distracted and gets into an accident. His companion was not fastened and flew out through the windshield, and he remained relatively unharmed. It turned out that the woman was a parasite when her body died. She cut off the man's head and took his body, but it was difficult to control him. The parasite needed a female body, which was more familiar to manage on the way home. Shinichi saw how the traffic police were being beaten in the alley. He stood up for him, but Midi was asleep at that moment, and Izumi had to deal with the hooligans himself. He was beaten up too, but he didn't leave. Then, Kana Kimishima, who was there, told her friends to leave him. She looked into Shinichi's eyes and saw something frightening there. For the fact that Izumi stood up for Nagin, the school began to respect him, but the guys from Mitsuo's gang decided to teach him a lesson for this act. They grabbed Moran and started beating Shinichi. When he tried to free her, Michi was ready to intervene and kill the hooligans, but Izumi restrained him. His leg and the guys from school helped him. They taught the scoundrels a lesson. After that, Kana came over to talk to Shinichi. She began to suspect that he was hiding something. Miji said that Kana feels his parasite, who was looking for a woman's body to move into it, found a married couple. They turned out to be Shinichi's parents, that his father was alive in a collision with a parasite. He managed to call his son and inform him that his mother had become a monster. After a while, Nabuka returned home, but Shinichi refused to believe that his mother was captured by a parasite. She took advantage of this and pierced his chest. Megi had to move to tell Izumi to heal his wound. When Shinichi woke up after that, he felt that he had become different. His vision improved, and he felt differently. Migi has also changed. Now he needs to sleep for 4 hours a day, the only way he can fully recover. Shinichi got a call from the hospital and was informed that his father was alive, and Izumi packed up and went to him. A local girl suggested him the way to the hospital. Her mom rented rooms for guests, and Shinichi stayed with them. His father was convinced that the monster that killed his wife had been a dream to him and nothing he had seen was real. In fact, Nabuka is alive because she was seen at the hotel where the couple stayed. However, Shinichi knew who his mother had become, so he decided to keep watch at his father's hospital so that she wouldn't kill him and she would come for him. And Izumi was sure, and at that moment, he wanted to destroy the monster that killed his mother. Finally, Migi sensed a parasite nearby, and Shinichek rushed after him. He became stronger and faster. He even managed to jump over a high wall on the beach, and at that moment, Migi realized that somehow he had changed his carrier.
That's all for today. Put likes and write comments. If you want more similar videos,